Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the Wrestling Den. I apologize about the further delays for episode 6. This is just kind of seems to be the trait of the show is that we might not show up at 7, but we definitely will be heading by 8. So there's that. But we are live every Thursday, typically at 7 p.m. On Rhode Island Broadcasting, and you can find us on YouTube and Sports Unfolded at Sports Unfolded, and you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Wrestling Den on Facebook and at Wrestling Den TM on the old Twitter because somebody took the Wrestling Den. So either way, this is our premier source of all things wrestling. Welcome, as always, Nick, my co-host, and my special referee that I talked about as of last week, who's helped me keep Miss Liz. Oh, yeah, right here, Miss Liz, yeah. This is the guy that helped me win the belt. By the way, I do have a huge announcement before we talk. So tonight's episode is going to be about tag teams, right? But before we get into that, a huge announcement. I have a huge announcement. We are officially sponsored by none other than the Slim Jim itself, dude. Yes, my special guest referee brought this thing from, it looks like from back in time, dude. We're going to snap into it. Oh, yeah, snap into a Slim Jim. I
thought you were going to say we were Chuli's Gum.
We are sponsored by Chuli's Gum. And just as real as Chuli's Gum is as real as our sponsorship of Slim Jim. Anyways, my co-host, Nick, my special guest referee, Trevor.
So,
tag teams. That's tonight's episode. Nick, you can talk. I'm not saying silence yourself. You can talk.
I'm letting you finish your intro.
I'm finished with my tirade. Okay,
I'm trying to be a good co-host. I'm trying to allow you the space to grow into the personality, the podcasting personality that you'd love to be.
We ain't got time for any of that. We ain't got time for me to grow. It is 7:14, baby. We got enough time to be talking tag teams.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time.
No, as far as tag teams go, Rick, why don't we open with this list that came out. This is almost a week ago, I think it was. It was the list of the top 50 WWF/WWE tag teams of all time. And now, and you got to realize that this list is going to be very WWE centric. So you're not going to get
Murder City,
exactly. You're not going to see the Young Bucks on here, obviously. So my point being, you take it with a grain of salt, but since we are WWF WWE fans, this tag team list will resonate with us, but I think it'll be
what gives, Trevor?
What do you mean?
You give me a Slim Jim that doesn't open? Like,
oh, I'm not coming in there and open it for you. That's yours.
You're supposed to be my special guest referee. This is what I'm not paying you for, you know?
I'm not getting paid at all.
You guys might be wondering, why do I have a special guest referee on right now? Well, that's because, ironically enough, so me and Nick are host and co-host, and Kenny, who is with us in spirit right now, as my co-host.
God bless his soul.
God bless. Everybody, please F's in the chat for Kenny if you can at some point in time. I have a special guest referee here because I have a co-host who is in cohorts with another co-host of mine, and I don't think it's quite fair that your undefeated champion has to sit here and take this punishment every week, week in and week out. And I'm a reigning, defending champion. Yeah.
Well, what you should notice is that look, I came to the ring. I came to the ring alone. I don't know about you.
You try to come with a partner, but your partner right now is being held up. You know, and he's being questioned because it's a 1-on-1, not a 2-on-1. So I got a referee here to make sure things are official because I'm not going to lose this belt on the grounds that you and Kenny are going to gang up to try to get the belt.
What about this skeevy bring your own referee to work day kind of BS am I looking at here? It seems to me like you're just stacking the deck. And I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to win the thing fair and square, regardless of the deck stacked. I'm gonna put you up in the rack, and you're gonna be tapping. You're gonna be calling for it, and then your referee's gonna hesitate to call for the belt, but he's gonna know that it's inevitable. He's gonna
real
know
quick
that
though. Andre the
nothing.
Giant didn't need a teammate. All he needed was a crutch.
Right, and you're using your referee as a crutch. Is that the statement you're trying to make?
No, I'm not using my referee as a crutch. I'm using my referee like a referee should be used to make sure that this, whatever you want to call it, is fair and square. Okay, because I don't need you, going about with me, the champion, and trying to pull some shady stuff tonight. Okay, because with the belt being on the line, yes, the belt is on the line. I want to make sure that every single tag team gets talked about.
Trevor, do you smell that? Do you smell? Smells like fear.
Fear. There ain't nothing to fear here. I've been in the danger zone. A battle with Miss Liz, Mean Gene Oakland. There's a reason why I'm champion and defending. If I was scared, if there was fear, if you smell fear, you wouldn't see me right now. I wouldn't be here. I'd be fixing my tire. Yeah, that was my reason for why I was late. It was my tire. Yeah, but I'm here. That's the ring.
Rick, you and your
that's Mr. Macho Man Ricky Savage to you.
Yeah, Ricky Savage, you and your crooked referee and all your excuses. That's the thing that's really tired.
Trevor, you gonna let him call you crooked, dude? Like, you're supposed to be a fair official here, and you're just gonna let this guy just downgrade you like real quick. Don't let a guy in a PlayStation hat. Don't let this guy. He hasn't played PlayStation forever. His kids play it. Don't let him fool you, man. This he's rusty, just like his ring rust. This guy hasn't wrestled in years. Let alone watch wrestling. Like, when's the last time we watched that? That was like SummerSlam 2 years ago. Don't let this guy fool you, man.
No, last time I watched it was SummerSlam '91, obviously.
Well, yeah. Besides that,
I was 4 years old.
Well, besides that, I think it's time we get this matchup started.
So let's dive into the list. You got Rick. You got the list. You ready to go?
I got the list. I forgot to send it to Trevor.
Trevor.
Just type 50 greatest tag teams of all time for WWE. It's like the first one. You can't miss it.
It to me.
I got a Slim Jim in my hands. I'm still trying to open it. It's taken me like this whole show so far to figure out how to open this dang thing. I'm really tempted. I want it.
Snap into a Slim Jim, but let's not snap into it. Let's slowly open that packaging and we'll ease into a Slim Jim.
All right, I like that. That was good. That right there is like that was a nice 2 count right there. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give that to you. That was a nice 2 count right there.
Gotta get the shoulder up at the last.
Yeah, just a quick kick out. We're not gonna make this a quick match. All right, so the Bushwhackers are number 50. No surprise there. The Bushwhackers.
Right.
We saw SummerSlam 91. They were fed to earthquake and typhoon. What's that terminology they use for that?
What, the natural disasters?
Yeah, when somebody's somebody's being fed, like was it sheep are being led to the slaughter? Lambs
to the slaughter.
Yeah. That's what the Bushwhackers were. They came out all exciting,
Rick, here's what I'll say about the Bushwhackers. They're not the most legendary of tag teams, but they are a team that people fondly remember from that era. They happened to be around when wrestling was in a valley in the early 90s. And so, I mean, you say what you want, they're not the most technically sound.
They were just there to just hype up the crowd, do their thing, become just another entrance in WWE games, and like, to me, I think they were. If I want to put them against a tag team that you would think about now, that would be like that, like a hype team. It would kind of be like maybe the Street Profits. Not even. I say the Street Profits have more credibility than the Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers are really
no. Here's the thing with that. So like Bushwhackers, when you start the list, like top 50 WWF WWE tag teams of all time. When you start with the Bushwhackers, now it sets a precedence. It sets the tone. And now it feels like I'm going to compare every tag team that's not on this list
to the
Bushwhackers for the rest of the time. Be like, was this tag team? What like for instance, I'm not going to skip forward and see who else is on the list here. But like, say that TNA, like Test and Albert, aren't on this list or something.
I
Would
really
you
hope.
rank the Bushwhackers above TNA? Would you rank the Bushwhackers above
The next list on the next group on the list, actually.
All right, so who do we got here? The
It's
next
Too
oh
Cool.
yeah.
So would you put
Well,
Bushwhackers above Too Cool?
No, Too Cool being at 49. Now, see me, I might rank them a little bit higher because to get over in that time, you have to be a hot commodity, a genuine hot commodity. Because
I looked at the list. Okay, like that's the spoiler. We both looked at the list. With Too Cool being at 49 and seeing who else is on this list, I'm very disappointed that they put, and even the Bushwhackers, because even though they weren't a team that was like, oh man, this is like, like the Hart Foundation, like a team that you like legitimately care for, they were still a staple in history to the point where like I would still put the Bushwhackers over like 85% of like the newer tag teams, just because they were at least over with the crowd and they were exciting in a way where they could carry. So Too Cool is the same way. Dude, every time that entrance would drop, the lights would go down, and like they were hanging out with Rikishi. It was always a great time to be had, dude. I had action figures of Too Cool because that's how cool they were. So for them to be 49, an abomination.
What's so ridiculous about Too Cool as a team, as I was rewatching some of the Attitude Era, is like they come in as like, and it's like Too Hot Scott and Too Sexy Brian Christopher, and they were just obnoxious heels. And then like as a rib, it seemed like one week they just came out and they were being these kind of faux white gangster guy. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like they just thought they were too cool. And to me, it seemed like a joke, but then they owned it. And with the outfits and the moves and the dancing, it got over. It got insanely over. So to me, Too Cool at 49. You could even rank them higher. But again, that might be rose-colored glasses based on the Attitude Era. To me. So with Bushwhackers, I'm at first it's like, oh, you could probably rank those guys lower, take them or leave them. But with Too Cool, I genuinely feel like you could rank them higher. So I agree with you. To be over and to be genuinely over like they were, you could. Now what's going to happen? I'm going to say, is this team better than Too Cool as we go down this list? So moving on.
So Trevor, I just sent you the list as well. So as a special guest referee, you're allowed to jump in at any time, and please do, because me and Nick like to cut each other off because we're so excited. Now I finally did snap into this Slim Jim. Oh yeah!
Eventually get into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah!
I'm disappointed in the fact that it took me this long to snap into the Slim Jim.
Snacking on a Slim Jim.
Then I get to talk about these guys over here. Freaking Bushwhackers and Too Cool. Kenny, my field reporter. He's out in the field. I see he's driving right now. What's going on here?
So to me,
what seems to be is
right. Well, what seems to be is that at 48 here we have the Quebecers.
I'm glad that you said their name, because I was going to definitely botch that in a way that
I probably didn't say. It's probably the Quebecers.
I don't know who they are, so honestly, I don't.
Well,
don't really have much to say about
them. Quebecers. Yeah, I can't even remember who they are.
Oh, don't worry, I got you guys. Some of us did the 2 seconds of research it would take to type that in. It's Jaco. And Quebecer Pierre was Carl Ouellet. It says it's probably a combination of, like Jacques Rougeau, for instance. I believe, if I remember right, he's the French announcer for the WWF.
Oh,
I might be thinking of one of the other Rougeaus actually.
I wonder why he got. He got 48. I don't know who these guys are, but Too Cool and Bushwhackers are 49 and 50. So that's right there. Boom. I'm just gonna say.
Well, one of them being the Mountie, and we saw him at SummerSlam.
Oh, was he a part of that?
So he's one of the two Quebecers. Okay.
So it's basically him and some French dude that get together, and that probably was a French Canadian, two French Canadians getting together and making a tag team.
Yeah, yep. And they beat the Steiners to become the tag team champions. It seemed genuinely unlike some of these other teams, of kind of a footnote. Again, this is a take it or leave it kind of thing.
I put the American males over these guys, but they were
Yeah,
WCW.
exactly. Yeah, the American males, if they were on WWF, I'd put them over as well. So that brings us to the next one. The Smoking Guns is Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn.
Okay.
So both of those guys obviously were into, like, Bart Gunn is obviously known for winning the ball and then getting knocked out by Butterbean, and that's really
he was the guy who got knocked out by Butterbean.
Yeah, that's one of them. And then
he's
obviously
the guy
Billy
that got knocked out by Butterbean. Everybody.
I'm sure we will see Billy Gunn again on this list at least twice. I bet you that we'll see Billy Gunn at least 2 more times. That at least obviously once, but maybe once again with Billy and Chuck, we won't know. But Smoking Guns, for their time, again, it's a low period in wrestling. They were the tag team champions, but they went up against like the Godwins, and they went up against what was the name of that team? The ones, trying to remember off the top of my head what those guys' names were. It was Chris Candido and the other guy. Nope, the name escapes me. Maybe I'm on the list, and I'll say that's who that was.
Trevor, do you want to read the next team?
I can't pull up the teams.
You're literally going to be a referee then.
Yeah, legit.
Hopefully, you just provide some insight on who it is.
Rick, he's here for when you curse on accident, disqualify you. That's really why he's here. The Body Donnas.
Low right there.
All right, I remembered. It's the Body Donnas. That's Chris Candido and goodness gracious,
there's a lot of names on this list.
I'm doing him a disservice right now.
So if we're gonna cover this whole thing, we're just gonna have to run through this thing. Like I don't think we can have enough time to be able to talk about everything like Strike Force.
That's fine. I'm just saying, Smoking Gun again. In their time in the vacuum that they were around, they were important. I'd say they deserve to be on the list in some form or fashion. Because without the Smoking Guns, you don't get the New Age Outlaws. So I guess we'll stick with it. So next up is Strike Force. This can be brief as well. Strike Force is
I think the next two could be Streak. Well, the next one after this one too.
Well, Strike Force is Rick Martel and Tito Santana, 2 guys who were more so known for, what they did separately. Most of the stuff Martel for is in WCW. He had a stint there where he was doing matches with like Chris Benoit and Booker T and stuff like that over the United States title. And then Tito Santana was the Intercontinental Champion. He's actually the guy that Mr. Perfect beat to be the Intercontinental Champion. Then his reign leads into SummerSlam 91 where Brett beats him. So show some respect for Tito Santana, as Jesse the Body would refer to him. Next up is the Head Shrinkers. Rick, feel free to jump in when any of these mid-90s ones don't throw you for a loop. The Head Shrinkers is the team of...
I'm sure Coco Beware is a part of it. Voodoo Mama Juju.
Fatu, so that's Rikishi, and then Samu, which is another member of the.
You got to remember, being
guy, the Samoan
1996 on, I was watching WWF.
Right.
I have not even watched anything old school WWF. That's what I'm going to be doing, but I have not watched any of these teams.
Rick, one of the original Wild Samoans was their manager, and it's Rikishi, like young Rikishi, and another member of the Samoan dynasty. They were tag team champions early 90s into the mid 90s. Again, credit where credit's due. We could put them on the list. I put them over 3-minute warning any day. So
I probably would too, and I don't know who they are.
Which leads us to the next one. This is kind of weird because these 2 were tag team champions for like years or anything like some of these other teams.
No, but I feel like their chemistry was great.
If you really watch it, once you get to that part, Rick, you'll kind of realize Pac, that's the next team on the list. Spoiler.
Their number.
Their feud.
They're number 44.
Their feud is more well known than than their tag team run. And it is kind of stupid. Like, oh, Kane's my friend, and X-Pac is like the most over he's ever going to be by being Kane's tag team partner. And then they just treat Kane like he's a special ed student, and X-Pac's like that cool kid at the lunch table who like invited him over, and they're buddies now. And I just like, I used to like X-Pac when I was younger, but then watching the Attitude Era again made me realize that I absolutely think that he does. So, again, a mishmash pairing like that, Kane and X-Pac. I mean, you're gonna put him over the Smoking Guns? Too cool. I disagree, but such is life. Speaking of,
I think we just got to see a different side of Kane's character, which Trevor, you would know about when Kane started showing those more comedic roles. Like I feel like Xbox and Kane was like RVD and Kane. Like it was obviously one of those teams that was not going to work out in the long run because there's obviously more story behind it than anything else. Same thing with Daniel Bryan and Kane, but it just
I'd say Daniel Bryan and Team Hell No. I'd say there's more story there, and it was a longer run than this Kane and X-Pac. Oh, maybe Team Hell No will be on this list somewhere. So
I'd say that RVD and Kane are good because that gave us one of the best moments.
They thought that Team Hell No was 27, so obviously this list thinks that they were better than X-Pac and Kane too. So there you go.
Oh, look, I'm definitely with you on that. The next on the list 43 is Evolution, which I don't know if they're saying that's Flair and Batista.
Yeah, it says Batista and Ric Flair.
Oh, okay, specifically.
Yeah.
Batista so to me, they were tag team champions. That makes sense, but like Orton's Intercontinental title run.
But were they like really memorable in terms of like a tag team though? Like I feel like most of these guys, besides like Too Cool and Bushwhackers, well, I can't even say like the Smoking Guns or the Head Shrinkers because obviously I don't know too much about them. But like Kane and X-Pac obviously was like a team. They kind of just got shoved together. Maybe same thing with maybe not so much Head Shrinkers, but I feel like the Guns was Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn, but as far as sticking out as a 50, I mean, you got 50 tag teams, so obviously they got to be listed somewhere. Right. But would I really put those guys over the names mentioned? Batista and Ric Flair, I would think so, yeah, because, what was that, like 2007 or was it 2003? It was 2003, wasn't it? When Evolution was running hot.
Yeah. And to me, I think it's just that it's just filler. They're just trying to fill out this. It's not a natural tag team. It's just another pairing.
Number 42
How about this? Here's what we're gonna do. I say if it's like a pairing, let's just briefly talk about it, but we'll move to the legitimate
like something good
tag teams. 42, like Eminem. I would say definitely give them credit where credit's due. I wasn't a huge Eminem guy, but the gimmick was fresh. Melina as the manager. Yeah, Melina was great. As far as like what she brought to the team. I like the paparazzi. I like the entrance. I like the look. These two young guys, they were hungry. But the thing I remember Eminem most for is Joey Mercury taking that ladder upside the face.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, that's the thing I remember him most for. So I'd say where they are, I'd even rank them, above. Especially the next team on the list. We can just skip them completely because I can't stand them. Is the boys.
Number 41, the Nasty Boys, who are just nasty at nothing.
Yeah, I'm just not a big Nasty Boys guy. A lot of these guys seem like.
What if Trevor is? What if Kenny
Trevor,
is?
Trevor and Kenny can be big Nasty Boys fans all they want. That's fine with me. I'm just saying.
They suck. Well, that's what we're getting at. If you're a Nasty Boys fan, you were definitely like. The same backlash that one of the Nasty Boys' wives faced against Hogan.
And I'm sure that there's going to be some Nasty Boys fans that are going to be mad at us going forward, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they're watching right now, but
right, all six of them, old Mama Sags and Mama Knobs.
Number 40 is rated RKO, and I don't know why. Right. So I didn't care for rated RKO, but I don't know why it's so. Like low on this list, like over some of the teams I'm seeing, like it's rated RKO worked for what it was. I think I obviously like Edge and Christian a lot better than Randy Orton and Edge, but as far as a tag team, I feel like yes, they deserve to be higher than Batista and Flair, I don't know so much if they deserve to be higher than Eminem.
Okay, well, you got to think, Rick. Sometimes they're also rating these mashup teams as like you can't rate it as individual body of work either. You got to like the pairing of Edge and Randy Orton.
But yeah, but if you think about it, it set off like basically anything that Edge did after. Or sorry, Randy Orton, or both of them basically, Randy Orton and Edge. But Randy Orton, whenever he did a tag team, it would be something RKO, like RK Bro, that with Matt Riddle, like so RKO. To them, RKO. I do see that, but like that's just basically like comes down to it. Like it was two great singles guys. I think trying to be like the next 2-man power trip, and not as good, but. I say that because you're talking about two oddball guys that would never be a tag team, did not come up as a tag team, being put as a tag team. So when you make that face, that's what I'm referring to, is the 2-man power trip being two individual heavyweight guys going together as a team. Like that doesn't really happen too often.
It's like
so
it's the Monstars. It's like I know what you're saying.
It
is. You're just like, oh gosh, that. How are these two going to be stopped? Kind of thing. This Austin Triple H type thing. But this was the light beer version of that with Edge and Randy Orton. Like,
they didn't really. They fizzled out. That beer fizzled out like before they even got going.
More truer tag team: Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
Number 39. One of my favorite WWE tag teams, and yet this is where they put them, but you know what? It's all fair.
I'm surprised they're even on this list. I'm surprised that Deuce and Domino aren't on this list. Over Brian Kendrick and Paul London, considering how little they really did to let those guys be.
I mean, but they went out there like despite everybody being against them and just doing their thing. Like when they started wearing pink knee pads, they just didn't care anymore. Like that was the thing. I think I saw that. Go out. I was like, yeah, what if we just go out with like wearing a pink knee pad instead? And they just stopped caring. So unfortunately, as much as I love that tag team, they didn't really get much of a chance to shine. Obviously, with Vince McMahon's whole death angle and Paul London corpsing at him and losing his job.
And Brian Kendrick, I think we end up remembering him more for being barefoot and being a weirdo.
I remember him being spanky with Paul London. Me personally, I wasn't a fan of any other the Brian Kendrick iterations that came across, whether it was TNA or WWE, what have you. Them as a tag team was like the early stages of MCMG for me. Like Murder City Machine Guns, my favorite tag team. Paul London and Brian Kendrick used to be that for me. Like the modern tag team I would choose would be these guys, but they just they're 39 for a reason.
They're a product of their time, and I'm actually like where they're at is pretty fair. I might even put Eminem over them.
Who was DIY? I know who they are, but
that's Tommaso and
Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah. Which again, it's interesting. A couple NXT guys get on the list. Who's going to give work was only on NXT because they're more so well known for
their singles feuds.
Their split and then their matches.
So I forgot. That's why I was thinking about DIY because for some reason Eric Young was popping in my head, and I was thinking of Sanity. But like DIY, I didn't get to come in for their tag team run. I came in for like the split because like I wasn't always watching NXT. So
me too.
And so and then it's like they get.
You got to think about it.
Get DIY back together.
Maybe their split wouldn't have been as powerful. Like maybe you and I, if we watched it again, watch them as a tag, might even be more powerful than it was before. So sometimes this in the individual rivalry kind of gets over more if you remember the good times, So brings us to 37, which is the world's greatest tag team. That's Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. Again, a lot of their stuff is SmackDown based. The same thing like Paul London and Brian Kendrick and Eminem. A lot of these guys were part of that tag division in SmackDown that was very well known. So and Charlie Haas and Benjamin individually, 37 is probably pretty strong showing for the two young guys, Kurt Angle's proteges. What do you think, Trevor?
I'm just here.
All right, yeah, your window dress out, I see. So, for me, I mean,
36 Money Inc.
So that
I'm assuming this has something
that's
to do
what you
with
think.
Ted
Okay,
DiBiase.
DiBiase and IRS, right?
I mean, they made sense.
Mike Rotunda, I believe,
DiBiase,
right? As DiBiase. And again, for their time, they feuded with who? They
What, losing you? Trevor, has this happened for you too?
What happened?
Can you hear Nick?
No, he died.
God
So do I
rest.
start the count?
Dude, start the count. Give us a 10 count.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, yeah!
5,
Can you about to witness
6,
the ending of St. Nick?
7.
Okay.
Come on, reconnect your internet.
Next tag team is
Yeah.
35. Chris
35.
Big Show.
The Big Show.
Am I finally here?
You're finally here.
Oh my gosh, yo.
But what's
Yeah.
the next question?
And
Jer-
first
Jer-
of all,
Jericho.
how
Jericho?
dare
You have to be
Hogan.
pretty big to.
I'm not too familiar with.
how dare you disrespect the Nasty Boys? I don't understand. I don't
Told you
understand.
I was a fan.
I was a fan.
How dare he disrespect the Nasty Boys?
Oh, we lost
Oh,
Nick.
I don't understand. How dare you? How dare you?
Don't act like you like
the Nasty Boys.
Name a
What
match
that you watched
that you
that
could
you could remember the full match.
Nasty Brian Knobs, Hogan's best friend.
So much of his best friend that he let his wife have a high five.
Have a high five.
We'll put it that way.
All
All right, anyways.
Jericho. I think
Hey,
again, it didn't have worked, but it did.
Anything with
Be
Chris
honest,
Jericho makes it. Okay. Anything with Chris Jericho makes it.
Even when it
looks
flabby
like
and
it's
goes for
flabby
lion salt,
goes for lion salt.
botches.
Even when he wears a little scarf and he walks. The list of Jericho.
I didn't care for Jericho.
I didn't care for Jericho.
I thought it was just a name.
It was just a name.
I don't know why I'm echoing.
I don't know why I'm echoing
Trevor's in the other room.
Trevor's in the other room.
No idea.
I think I'm echoing too.
I don't know.
Might be Kenny. Kenny.
Might be Kenny.
What's the connection going on
What's
right
that?
there?
Connection going on right there. You got
speakers
your
on?
speakers on.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also hear us too.
I don't know what happened to Nick. What happened to Nick?
He might be back.
He might be back.
He might be back.
I mean, I don't have.
I don't have anything on. I have
on,
a headset on,
so it can't be me.
And
My
I'm echoing
microphone
too.
is-
I don't think it's me.
Yeah. Like even just to be sure I even turn off my the one thing that would be
echoing it.
Despite the echoes, you can hear the echoes of how
Jericho was
a flop to me because I don't remember anything that they did. The natural disasters are number 34. I think I pretty much summed them up. They were pretty much lambs to the slaughter for Legion of Doom, but I mean, like they were a heel tag team that like would hold their own because of their size. But I mean, I think that was like the biggest grab for them was like their names obviously being Earthquake and Typhoon. The size of the two guys. Were they great wrestlers? I don't think so. I don't think anybody thinks that. I think they were just there to be a big tag team. To basically, little guys would, obviously get stomped down and become hot tags for the bigger guys that would come in, because that's what people would want to see. Is people come in and like if Hulk Hogan faced like Typhoon or Earthquake, like bigger guys coming in fighting off these guys. That's what people wanted to see. People that could take these guys down. So that was the big thing, I think, with Earthquake and Typhoon. I feel like Natural Disasters as a tag team, again, a WWE household name, you know who they are. I feel like a lot more teams that we listed so far are above that, but they're going to put them there anyways, so fair enough. I'm sure they won titles. Again, I have not watched all this, so I can't tell you. But even then, there's a team that I remember more of, which is a new team, which is the Street Profits on number 33. So
Okay.
I've only seen a couple things from the Street Profits. This is really going to be on you guys to kind of tell me what hypes you about the Street Profits, besides them drinking cups and wearing crowns. And
The way they interact with the crowd, that's one of the things for me. Because when they enter, they have just so much energy and everything with what they're going on and what they're doing. Not only that, they're two gifted performers in the ring as well. So,
I mean, I feel like one's more like a D'Lo Brown, but without the gift. And Montez Ford, I feel like he's like the one who's going to go solo and make a career, because I feel like the other one, really, to me, doesn't stand out much. It's more like Montez Ford is the show, and then this guy's here with him, just hyping him up as his hype man. And he wears gym shorts, so I'm not really too entertained by a singlet and gym shorts. I feel like that's a cheap way to get out of actually working on a good, decent attire, like the guys that were listed above him, such as the Bushwhackers or Eminem or Paul London and Brian Kendrick. Guys that, like, I'm not taking any credibility away from them, but as far as me watching them and what I've seen, it's really Montez Ford is what's hyping me up, because he's all over the place with his energy. And yeah, the other one's got energy too, but again, if I saw those two split, I would know who's going to go further on the list and who's going to go off the list, in my opinion.
all right.
Any interjections, boys?
They got great mic skills. Great mic skills.
All right. Next
All
number.
right. Jack and Gerald Briscoe, number 32, and just in time for Nick to come back to talk about this great tag team. Jack and Gerald Briscoe is what we're on, number 32.
Briscoe Brothers. I mean,
The
classic.
original Briscoe
Brothers.
Oh man, I missed the Natural Disasters. I just wanted to talk about John Tenta again. He seems to be the thread that holds us together. But as far as Jack and Gerald Briscoe goes, I mean, why not Briscoe and Patterson if we were gonna go? Why not? Heck, why not the Mean Street Posse? I'm just kidding. Again, I'm unfamiliar with their body of work. So
Fair enough. That will move us on to the Bludgeon Brothers, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan at 31.
Right.
Spin-off series of the Wyatt family. Two guys coming out with big hammers. That's basically the only reason why they became a tag team, is because they're two big guys that were in the Wyatt family that knew each other.
So you're going to say to me that this team deserves to be rated above the world's greatest tag team, London and Kendrick,
No.
Eminem, and Too Cool and the Smoking Gun.
Look, God rest Brody Lee's soul. There's nothing against him or the Bludgeon Brothers, but I'm not going to also sit here and deny the fact that the Bludgeon Brothers bludgeoned me to death with boredom. So unfortunately for that tag team, there's nothing either one of those guys could do, because at this time, this was an experimental time after the Wyatt family did not work out, which it did. But the Bludgeon Brothers were kind of just like a failed experiment to see what we could do with the same two guys and have them split away from Bray Wyatt. And unfortunately,
Why don't we just go ahead and mosey on to the next number?
Well, Kenny looked like he wanted to say something.
I'd like to skip that, please, too.
Okay.
Kenny.
He's usually just got our back, so he just wants to move on.
British Bulldog and Owen Hart, number
and
30.
Owen Hart, number 30.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, let's skip it, yo. It's not even worth. I mean, no disrespect to Owen Hart. He was great. Davey Boy, great. Together, no. Nope. Together, nope.
Even though British Bulldog did put on a wrestling clinic
clinic
at SummerSlam 91.
Well, I would say that
Steamboat.
the Bulldogs' power and Owen Hart's speed and agility, just like the British Bulldogs, the team. I mean, it's a pretty good pairing, but I mean, again, it's another mashup of a couple guys who are in a stable,
Like John Morrison and The Miz at number 29.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Bar at number 28. Like,
Miz and Morrison's an interesting team,
Mhm.
but again, same thing with the Bar. It's just another mashup. I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus, and then they got a good run.
I mean, I honestly
and-
never cared for Miz and Morrison, and even when people wanted them back, I just thought it was going to hurt both their careers because John Morrison, you talk about a guy who went to Lucha Underground and made a name for himself despite, not being in WWE. This guy went to the Indies. He went to Ring of Honor. Like, this guy wrestled all over, but then you're just going to bring him back to be remembered as Miz and Morrison. And that was, to me, hurt his character the most, is coming back to the WWE. All things considered, he might as well collect that paycheck, right? But to bring him back for his possible last run, who knows? I can't really speak for Morrison, but to put him with the Miz, which was not not even a lucrative tag team, because everybody was like, oh, just like Jeff Hardy's No More Words. Like, I don't care about No More Words. I don't want to hear no more about Jeff Hardy should come out to No More Words. It sounds like a theme song for like a 2007 concert, not a theme song for a guy who gets you hyped up on whatever the hell ecstasy he's on. Either way,
right.
Like, I don't care about Miz and Morrison. When Edge came into the Royal Rumble and Randy Orton and him were looking down like, oh, Radio RKO. Both those teams I didn't want to see come back to the WWE. I didn't want to see Radio RKO to get back together, and I didn't want to see Miz and Morrison get back together.
Right.
Either way, that's how I feel about them. Just had to get that out there. Number 27 is Team Hell No, a team we did talk about that is better than Kane and X-Pac, arguably.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a great job because I was not interested in Kane's character since he put the mask back on. But once he got together with Team Hell No, I was very invested in that storyline despite this horrible rendition of Mask Kane. So I like their segments that they did. They were all sitting around in a circle. Kane has a name tag that says Kane on it. Hi, I'm Kane, and it's just like, it's funny, right? It's slapstick funny, and then when they would I am the tag team champions, and they would fight, and then we'd cut to commercial, and then you get things like I think when they hugged it out after they pushed each other a few times, but they would hug it out. The dynamic was memorable.
Is it memorable?
A lot more memorable than some of these guys, like the Quebecers.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So.
I think they deserve a solid 27. I don't think Kane and X-Pac should have been that close to it, but at least for me, if I remember tag teams with Kane, that was one of the first ones. I feel like it should just slightly go above Dan O'Brien because it's the first thing for me to see Kane as a side.
Anything with X-Pac in it, I can't get behind.
That's fair. I'll give that to you.
I like
anything with X-Pac in it. I can't get behind.
To the new generation.
And this next team will benefit Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik by not having X-Pac on their team.
And so Los Guerreros number 25. I just have to throw that out there because I didn't really. Again, if I'm just skipping over it, it's because I didn't see it. So feel free to just chime in with whatever knowledge that you have, abundance wise. Because I'm just kind of throwing out names. I don't really want Los Guerreros. Everybody loves Eddie Guerrero, obviously, because he's Eddie
and Java.
Yeah, but to me, I didn't really care for the Los Guerreros when they were around. Now, as I stand, I feel like they were a solid tag team because it was nephew and uncle, and they were working together, and it was cool. We lie, we cheat, we steal. But other than that, to me, it was just a name and a way to kind of try to help boost Chavo to Eddie's level. But I just don't think it worked out for Chavo because Chavo never really got that, even when they broke up. It was more so, it was just kind of adding to Eddie's story, not really Chavo.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how people mostly remember it, and Eddie takes the lowrider gimmick with him and stuff like that. And after this is his world heavyweight title reign and stuff like that, or his WWE title reign. So like you said, I think most people remember that more fondly than the actual Los Guerreros tag team. So with that, though, we have reached the halfway point of the tag team list. And I think that's as good a place as any to pause.
With Los Guerreros, and then we have, the other teams to go through next week.
24 through number 1 next week.
So that's a good idea. Now we do also have Money in the Bank next week, next Sunday. So keeping that in mind, maybe if we get through the next list, if we have time, we'll probably talk a little bit of Money in the Bank. Obviously not one of my favorite pay-per-views. So it's okay to keep it short because there's not really anything memorable that comes out of them other than Rob Van Dam's Money in the Bank briefcase. So, I think what he's saying is we didn't even.
I don't want to watch Money in the Bank.
It's gonna be a feast, dude. It's gonna be a Money in the Banquet.
Money in the Bank. Okay.
If you ever say Money in the Banquet again,
Money in the Bank.
I'll raise your hand. I'll raise your hand right in the middle of the ring in front of everybody.
I will call disqualification.
I will say that we did get along for the most part, despite you having like a 9.5 count on being counted out. I think it was a 10. That's me personally. I think Trevor might agree.
No, I think I slid in right at the last second.
Under the rope.
Just got in. I'm sorry.
Just got in. Either way, I don't think he won because there was a huge loss there that I had to sum up. But I will say this: it's not about. I don't think tonight was about taking the title. I think it was just about the defense. Yeah, it was about the defense. So yeah, Kenny, unfortunately for you came in late to the defense. So you had to be Nick's manager. You're always in his corner. So just remember, the cream always rises to the top. And I will say though, I think we worked out pretty well in terms of getting to the 25. We didn't get through all 50, but 25, I will say, for next week. We're going to prepare for, I'll take off the shades. I'm going to replace these bad boys with these bad boys because I am a savage, yeah. And I'll replace the NWO, yeah. NWO takes a rest for a night, yeah. We're going to put on the old Macho Man, yeah. Randy Savage for the Mega Powers, yeah. I think that's what we're going to see, the birth of the Mega Powers next week. I figured this is a good time, if any, to be able to bring us together for one more episode before you try to come for my belt one more time. And Kenny, oh man, Kenny, I hope you bring a tag team partner next week because I'm taking your partner.
I'm ready.
I'm going to show them. Yeah. Anyways, we appreciate everybody who watches. Thank you for coming out to episode 6. I know that was kind of like a rush thing. Next week we'll obviously work on those kinks. But as always, if you want to continue to follow us, you can follow us at The Wrestling Den on Facebook. You can follow us at Wrestling Den TM on Twitter. You can follow us actually on Rhode Island Broadcasting, and you can follow us on Sports Unfolded at Sports Unfolded. We are live every Thursday, sometime around 7, sometime after 7, usually.
Yeah, you could. Rick's saying you can follow our kink blog or whatever the heck he's saying.
Yeah. As The Wrestling Den is on. Feel free to follow us somewhere. It's not hard to find us, and if you don't want to see us, you can just believe in us and listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, and Google Podcast.
And then you can gloss over us in a top 50 podcasting wrestling podcast list sometime in the future, 20 years from now.
It's not about the ending of the race. It's about the just the journey of the race. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Either way, you guys have a wonderful night. This has been another episode of The Wrestling Den. We'll see you next time.